The NFL TV commentators' Royal Rumble is upon us. How about this? Drew Brees, yep, he joins the fray as the number 3 on Fox. Tom Brady makes $37.5 million per year. Troy Aikman, Tony Romo pulling in $18 million per year. There's a lot of gold in them there hills. Not in my pocket, but I got lint. Brees, Greg Olsen, J.J. Watt, they are all gunning towards them. And the battle to the top of the NFL TV mountain is the lead. It's Marchand and Meterparel. Everybody loves sports media. I'm John Meterparel. He's Andrew Marchand. He has some silver. What does the Brees move mean, Andrew?
I just think it's fascinating when you look at what has happened. If you look at the all-time quarterbacks meet, most of them went into the broadcast booth. There's only a couple. John Elway stands out, but almost everybody was at least in the studio or did games. Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, those are kind of the white whales of the situation. And you didn't think maybe they don't do it. Then Peyton was allowed to work from home and do only select games during the year. That's worked out well for ESPN. Brady with the big contract for Fox. And you see guys like J.J. Watt before the season moved from the studio to the booth, and not for big money, but with the opportunity to grow. He's only in his mid-30s. He made a lot as a player, but has a chance to maybe become a number one. You have Greg Olsen in the mix, and now Drew Brees. Drew Brees could easily be making $20 million a year. If he had played one more year, he probably would have ended up at Amazon Prime Video, because I think Al Michaels would have maybe been more into Drew Brees at that point. I think after Brees struggled at NBC, Michaels was not that into having Drew Brees as his partner, so maybe Brees would have ended up there. But now he's a number 3 at Fox, but with a chance to grow, so credit to Drew Brees for going after it if that's what he wants to do.
I noticed you didn't mention Vince Ferragamo, Bubby Brister. I always think about the ones that didn't work. Drew Brees was on that list for a little bit. How about Joe Montana?
Yeah, Joe Montana.
Everybody thought was going to be the guy, but he wasn't the guy. No personality, Andrew.
He told me once he quit in the middle of the Super Bowl, or maybe in his head he quit in the middle of the Super Bowl. He's like, I'm not doing this anymore. And Montana was not good. It's been varied in terms of how good guys have been. Brett Favre is someone else who hasn't really done it. He did try out for Monday Night Football. I wrote a story about that, and then he put out a statement because the audition did not go well, which I reported, and so then he said he didn't really want to do it. Well, then why'd you do an audition, Brett? But anyways, it's here nor there. That's where we stand. Presented by WSC Sports. You want to make your life easier? WSC Sports Digital Asset Management, a library that actually gets sports. WSC-sports.com. Good news. Our next Off the Record with me, Andrew Marchand, presented by WSC Sports, is happening December 11th. Hans Schroeder, topic NFL executive. Very important. We'll get into all the media stuff and all the future. That's on Thursday, the 11th. We'll have a place to sign up for you shortly. Twice a week podcast available at andrewmarchand.com. And Tuesdays and Thursdays. This week, John Orand is the main event guest. And so we'll probably do a lot of YouTube on that. So we'll do some YouTube, ESPN here, but we'll probably save that for Orand because that's his specialty from Puck.
Yes, that's his hot zone. And Orand will soon be known throughout New England as one of the premier voices on Nesson. That was a big deal as well. So we had some correspondence on that. I told Orand to lay off the Terps coverage. But what's up in your world, Andrew?
My what's up is Brian Windhorst, new deal with ESPN. He keeps growing. I mentioned the other day, they have a 5 o'clock slot opening up after Around the Horn. They got a 2 o'clock. They might do something on ESPN. I think Windhorst is somebody who they're going to consider for some kind of role on those forums when they finally get to it, which probably is not going to be until next year. He had some other opportunities, I do believe, to leave ESPN. Windhorst is one of the rare guys who's moved from the print side of things into being more of a analyst and broadcaster, has a really good delivery. Good for Brian Windhorst, who gets my what's up for re-signing with ESPN.
All right, my what's up, Brad Nessler, CBS Sports, college football, college basketball, but I listened intently to the Oregon-Iowa game. That was an old-school Big Ten game. It's still weird to say Oregon's in the Big Ten, but it was Nessler and Danielson, and they're on that list of announcers that when I hear their voices, I say, all right, this must be a big game. And it was a big game. It was a grinder, but they called it very well. They always seem to capture the right points. They always seem to capture the right punctuation. Danielson's going to be missed. He works so well with Nestler. Nestler has an authoritative command of the language. He has an outstanding voice. When I hear him, I think, all right, this guy knows what he's doing. And to me, he's a professional announcer, and he called a terrific game. It was a close game. They were helped by that, but down the stretch, they made the right calls.
Yes, let's we're going to talk NFL broadcasting a lot. I want to get into Nestler's career. Interesting career. Did the NBA Finals. Probably was a misstep in terms of his career, and then didn't get the number one college job. Went to Chris Fowler over Nestler. My what's down: Jim Nantz and Tony Romo, CBS's NFL number one team. They keep regressing. They do this thing where, and I tweeted about this, they lead the league in saying they did this game, a couple of years ago or earlier in the season. We were at that game. No one cares if you're at the game. That has nothing to do with it. We get it. You guys do the big games, but that doesn't matter. They also love to reference what they said earlier, which, again, we're listening. If you do it every once in a while, these things, it's fine, but they just do it. It's just like kind of like their thing. And then lastly, just the chemistry. Romo will make a joke. Jim will kind of comment on it, but there's no real camaraderie there. I know they hugged and said they loved each other at the beginning of games, and maybe they do truly love each other. But in terms of the chemistry, you just don't necessarily feel it when you're watching the game. And last thing, Nance late on a lot of calls, but then sometimes when he's early, he gets things wrong. So again, just want to see improvement from that Nance and Romo combination.
Yeah, they're definitely stuck in neutral and regressing. They have the Patriots and Bucks. We'll get into that. You and I don't hug enough, so we might have to work on that. My what's down is Gus Johnson, Fox, one of the great games of the college football season, Indiana, Penn State, 36 seconds left in the game. Gus Johnson, here's the game-winning touchdown, Mendoza to Cooper. Let's hear it.
Mendoza in trouble! It's out! Touchdown! Wow! A miracle play! Unbelievable!
I thought, WWSM, what would Sean McDonough do? This is a call that announcers live for. That was like a valiant comeback. Some called it the greatest game of the college football season. You can argue that for all days. Who cares? But it was a terrible call. It sounded like a nighttime emission. It was just, I don't even know what it was. I couldn't understand it. It sounded like he was just trying to figure out the best Gus Johnson-ization he could, and that came out. Pushing it from God knows where, I don't know. Gus, just call the play, and then you can go crazy. Just call the play. Make it a memorable call, because it was a memorable play. And he just didn't rise to the occasion. We talk about that a lot. Who rises to the occasion? Gus Johnson spent a career rising to the occasion with these type of calls. He's made a YouTube empire out of it. But this was just brutal.
Yeah, I tend to agree. Let's get into that in the questions as well. Listen to the whole podcast, AndrewMarchand.com, AndrewMarchand.com. Mark Shapiro last week was the main event. Definitely recommend that to go back and listen. And then all our archives, John Orand for his monthly appearance coming up later this week, AndrewMarchand.com.